down, if you put your hand up in the front question and say who you are as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian McCall. I think I wanted to challenge this, do nothing, sort of, and relate it back to a couple of things. I mean, I used to work for a university, and I used to deal with VCs, and I used to deal with one of those that had a sort of a long pipeline. It's less the pipeline that seems to me the problem, in fact, you're locked in for a few years. It's if you're locked in for a few years and they decide to do nothing, or you're locked in for a few years and you're in an economic cycle, which means it's not worth their while doing something. So that really is the kind of problem. So the first question, I suppose, quite a series of allowed to in this is what makes the sort of angel community different, and they're not subject to the same sort of cycles, or is there something that allows angel venturers to sort of break that economic cycle when the VCs might not be up for it?
Okay, so it's a very good question. So I think it basically comes down to the keeping people on their toes point, which is that if you have a pipeline agreement, it's the fact I'm unhappy argument. You know, if someone knows that they get first dibs on everything that comes out, then quite naturally they're going to sort of maybe cherry pick, not help on certain to develop things, and you know, familiarity, contempt, you know, the old adage is there. Whereas if you have a community of entrepreneurs come and go. You know, I'm in various angel clubs, and they change. You know, there was a guy who disappeared, and he disappeared, and someone, where's Bart gone? Oh, yeah, Bart's just started a new business, so you won't see him again for another 5 years. But that fleeting nature of entrepreneurs in particular means that when people are around and they've got a cash burning hole in their pocket because hopefully they've exited something or whatever, then you know, grab them there. But it's not the same thing. You're dealing with more of a fluid, dynamic environment. I think it's the answer to the question.
I want to connect it back to that in a sense. Well, your long tail argument, because I think Mark was talking about evidence. I don't know whether people appreciated evidence as a company, evidence limited. And one of the companies when I was at the university I was at, we sold to Thomson Reuters. Now that was a knowledge-based business. I don't think any of you thought had particular value, but because it was a business of that ilk and hadn't had huge VC investment, we had a pretty big slice of it. So when we sold it, we got a good deal. We did a few of those and we did a lot of license activity. And it strikes me actually that all of that, you add all that together, it's actually worth more than the head of that tail, big VC lightning strikes, that you wait, you know, 5, 6, 7 years to come along. So perhaps your reaction to that, but also just to unpack the size of the deals that you're prepared to do. Those knowledge-based businesses, are they in your remit?
Okay, so yeah, well, I'd agree. I think the audience in this room recognises, you know, that the spin-outs get the glory, and it sounds like that one did actually make you a lot of money. A lot of spin-outs, you know, when you actually hear the inside story, it's not so happy. But yeah, it's all about the licensing. It's the things you can control day by day. You know, it's unfortunately what I call bread and butter. It's a bread and butter business. So that would be my reaction: is keep working at that, and the spin-outs will come. But yeah, don't focus on lightning strikes. Is definitely the first. Yeah. Sorry, what's this?
Yeah.
Right.
Alan Celestia, University of Westminster. I think Brian made the point about the economic situation being difficult, but I think it depends who you are. If you're talking about a company that's got a lot of pipeline, it's invested, it can't get another lot of investment from somebody else, it can't exit, so it has to reinvest. So it's money for new companies that's going into existing ones because it can't exit, it can't get them off the books. Whereas you talked there about a very dynamic situation where you have agencies doing one investment at a time. And so they become available. It's actually a brilliant time to try to start a company. There's rents are low. There's plenty of talent out there. And everybody out there, their first question is how do you save the money and get them to sell more? Instead of actually, what you said, I think dumb fat happy. I'm only getting 85% of profit. I can squeeze out this business, but who cares? You know, this is actually a great time to start a business. Too many businesses start to get into a recession like that.
Yeah, great. Yeah.
I am actually interested, Dan, in that slide that you skipped through.
Oh,
do. Because my question is, if we've got a non-located network, how does the money like to interact with the network, stay in touch, get a view on what opportunities there are?
Okay, so we can talk about the way we do things, but we don't want to sort of say we're the right way. We've had some successes and there are lots of models. What we do is we're a core group of angels with entrepreneurial backgrounds. We have our own sort of mini 70 venturers ourselves in different sectors that we tap into. So universities usually sort of come to us for money, and we go, let's find the right person, because we both don't know if that IP, that brilliant piece of IP, is actually worth bothering investing about. So our process is we'll find, and of course the management might be from your network. We don't necessarily mind if we either A, know that person, reference them, or believe that our money is as safe with them as it is with us, kind of thing. So we look at it, we qualify that opportunity as a commercial thing. They might have to scurry around and ask, make a few, what we call golden telephone calls. If this looked like this, would you buy it? Sort of thing to their mates. And then if that happens, maybe some grant funding comes in from us or between us or something like that, and then it goes from there. So it's a question of, yeah, you're right, getting all these people in orbit is one thing, and then bringing them back down to land in the right order is another. But there is a sort of pathway of, certainly that we use, that's the way I've described, which you only really ever risk a few grand at a time until you get to a seed funding round. And then you can make a bet then.
Any other questions? Back in.
Hi, Chris Harrison, University of Salford. I'm just interested to know what you think the impact of full or partially backed public sector funds, as in funds with all or part public money in the European ERDF, whatever. What the impact of them is on your business model, perhaps in terms of creating slightly weird motivations to spin companies out, geographical issues, etc.
Yeah, so it's a very good question, because we came purely from a world where we didn't really know about grants and enterprise zones and all this kind of thing, and the different structures and the politics of funding in the UK and in Europe, and we've learned a lot. There are some. Most of it is very helpful. We've actually just closed some grant funding with the University of Warwick. I'll name it. I don't think anyone doesn't really matter. It's a software business in the University of Warwick. We've got grant funding for it from TSB, and we've matched that. And that's a very happy thing, because TSB knows it's getting private funding plus some management with experience. Obviously the grant goes a long way in a business that probably normal Dragon's Den type angels would pass on, because it's just that little bit risky. And that's a happy marriage, but one wouldn't have come without the other. Now, if there's other kinds of things that support regions or whatever else, we'll always look at a business, tax breaks and anything else, we'll always look at a business and go, yeah, is this going to make money? And for us. And so we don't see any competition, but if we see some unusual things happening, because it's got to be made in some island or whatever, because that's where the grant is, we'll pass on it. We'll think we'll leave that for someone else, and we're here to ultimately to make money.
Any further questions? This one.
Chris Jones, University of Leicester. Can you say something about how we can encourage venturers and entrepreneurs to come to us rather than consultants? And I mean, on a university or on a project-by-project basis, because we get a lot of people who desperately want to take our distressed IP off our hands so they can raise money for it. But we get very few people who have the combination of expertise and cash in order to get the project going.
Yeah. It's not straightforward, as I said. You can't hire. It's a very good question. You can't hire entrepreneurs. We fostered networks of entrepreneurs just because that's where we came from. So I guess that would be, we would say talk to us, but we're not the answer. We maybe think we can help. Otherwise, I do think that again the world in 5 years will be a very different place. I do think there will be a strong channel between TTOs in particular and someone heading up a particular group of entrepreneurs. And I think maybe, to answer your question, Chris, it would be rigorous filtering on both sides, and a rigorous understanding and networking. So in other words, the university might actually have to come and network with entrepreneurs in entrepreneur circles and try and talk their language, and vice versa. Try and get entrepreneurs to have a look at things, kick things around and go, what do you think of this? You've sold your business in medical software, or whatever, we've got this business, what do you think? And trace people down, trace them on LinkedIn, look in the FT, who's sold their business. There's venture capital magazines, Real Deals and Unquote, where you can actually see, you know, Bob exited medical device company. Why don't I phone up Bob? He lives near Leicester or whatever, and just invite him down. A, they'll be flattered. B, a lot of them, when they've made money, do actually have some social impact reasons why they want to help. I mean, they like making money because it's a sport, but actually, it's and actually you've got to go and reach out, because you're right. Don't think they're going to knock on your door. The people who are going to knock on your door are the ones that you want to keep the door firmly locked.